Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're on the Pioneer server, so keep in mind the content is subject to change, and we have before you King Rolan, who is the most anticipated hero of this season. And I've already done a little bit of PvP testing. We know the Dream Realm results of today, which by the way 30 billion score gap for the Rolan versus non-Rolan team, at least on the day 1 of testing in Gluma, which is obviously a reason to plan to pull him. Okay, so what exactly are the skills of Rolan? We'll briefly go through these because we didn't know the numbers before. His ultimate, it has a 400 energy, and he will draw Excalibur, 400 initial energy, cleansing dispellable debuffs from all of his allies, redistributing health of non-summon allies, so that the same percentage, and he then increases all allies' maximum health, so a health increase, an actual 150% bonus health to all of your heroes, which is massive. No other hero grants anything of that level, and restore a massive amount of health. 1000% attack multiplier is crazy. And the max HP gain from this skill will gradually decay over the 12 seconds. But, you know, for this whole period of time, you're going to be much tankier than ever before. So that is a really interesting skill. The 400 initial energy is a little bit on the lower side. It will take him a while to cast an ultimate. He is susceptible to being killed early, especially in PvP. But in Dream Realm and AFK stages, you can protect him, you know, until he gets off his ultimate. And then he'll just keep cycling, keeping your team alive, right? Okay, moving on to Undying Valor. There's a 10-second cooldown, initial cooldown of 5. That's a little bit long. Honestly, this is a bit unfortunate because this was really one of the skills that is really nice for Rolan for PvP. We'll just read the passive first. When a battle starts, Rolan inspires his allies, granting the allied team 20% morale. For every 20% morale the team has, all allies gain attack equal to 10% of Rolan's initial attack. So at full out morale, which will be 100%, it will be 5 times this amount, 50% attack buff. And for like Dream Realm, for AFK stages, you are going to stack up to this 100% morale pretty quickly as well. And then for the rest of the battle, you're going to have this 50% bonus attack, and if you have skill power, even more. The team's morale is capped at 100%. During combat, the allied team gains 5% morale, so this is how you can generate it, is whenever an ally casts an ultimate, and the twins, by the way, count for 2. When the twins cast an ultimate, because both Pink Twin and Blue Twin are 2 separate heroes, it actually will count for 10% like morale boost, which is actually a really good like synergy twins have with Rolan. Defeating a non-summon enemy grants 10% morale, so a kill, while losing a non-summon ally. So if one of the allies on your team dies, again, there's a PvP problem, right? Is going to subtract morale from your team. So this is why he's kind of like, he's a high risk, high reward type hero in PvP, or you need to run him in a team or against an enemy that he's not at risk of really dying. Because if he dies, you're going to have your morale. Your morale will be reduced, but when Rolan is dead, all morale is lost, and allies' attack are going to be, like, as a consequence, your attack is actually going to be reduced by 5%. So that is why it's a bit problematic, because he's a support hero, and as you guys know with support heroes like Celius, like Valara, they don't have great survival for PvP. They can be nuked off early on in the match, and he's kind of the same way. Anyway, active Rolan blesses the 2 allies with the highest cumulative damage. Now, this is the unfortunate thing, because this is a really nice active skill, but a 5-second initial cooldown is a bit too long for PvP specifically. Blesses the 2 allies with the highest cumulative damage, making them unaffected for 10 seconds. And you want unaffected, like Ravion gives it like instantly, basically, 0.5 seconds into the match. Rolan gives it 5 seconds into the match. That is a problem. And increasing their attack by this, if the allied team has at least 60% morale. The blessed allies also gain 50 haste, which is nice. And for, again, Dream Realm, PvE content, AFK stages, you're going to be able to get off this effect, like potentially 5 seconds in. Maybe this is why they programmed it to be 5 seconds, because by that time, maybe you're up to that 60% morale, and then you're going to give a bigger buff to those allies. So for PvE content, I mean, the skill is insane. But for PvP, you want this unaffected to go off earlier, and so this is really problematic for his PvP angle. Although, again, if you're able to survive those initial 5 seconds, 10 seconds, have a bit of a stall comp, and Rolan can survive, then he really comes online, and he comes out swinging when he lives long enough. 50 haste when the blessing is active, and this goes up to 24% attack buff to the 2 hardest hitting damages with unaffected. Okay, Clemency's Edge, 10-second cooldown, initial of 1. That's really short. Rolan targets the area with the most allies, restoring big health. to all allies within 1 tile and reducing their damage taken 36% damage reduction. And also the thing is, this is not ultimate bound. So like heroes like Peggy who also have this, ultimate damage reduction, Rolan will not need his ultimate to get this damage reduction for your team. However, he will need to cast it. So like if he's being crowd controlled like by a Mahiro or something and he's not able to cast it, then you're not going to get this effect until it wears off, right? But damage reduction, healing, and if the allied team has at least 60% morale, so that's 3 bars, because basically his Excalibur has 5 bars in total. Each bar corresponds to 20% morale. When you have 3 bars, which is 60% or more, then his skills are enhanced, and this one will also deal damage to enemies within 1 tile. Basically, it'll deal damage into a targeted area and with the most enemies in it, and all enemies within that tile and that 1 tile adjacent to it, all around it, will be stunned for 3 seconds and dealt damage to, which is an interesting skill. And for AFK stages, definitely some crowd control, also healing, damage reduction, nice. And for a Dream Realm, not really as needed, but the healing maybe can help. Okay, Hero Focus, increase healing by 15 and reduces damage taken by 15%. I mean, that's a good start for some survival, but 15% damage reduction on its own is not enough. For every 20% morale the allied team has, Rolan gains an extra 5 healing and further reduces his damage taken by 5%. Okay, so a bit of scaling, damage reduction, and healing when he has more morale. Okay. Now, exclusive skill, Radiant Rain. Once the allied team's morale reaches 100%, Rolan creates a Radiant Ward when an ally casts their ultimate. Now, this is the crazy part. His exclusive skill is insane. For both any PvE content, AFK stages, and your Dream Realm, because Rolan will create a Radiant Ward when the morale reaches 100%. When an ally casts their ultimate, a clone of that ally will appear, inheriting up to 100% at plus 10 of the ally's basic stats and casting their ultimate again. So you're going to get double Freerin ultimates, double Twins ultimates, although Twins ultimate, the buffs seem not to stack. At least that's what we saw from the... I don't know how we will calculate it, but maybe it's something we'll find out about that. I don't think the Twins buff stacks. But like, double Contest ultimate. That would be powerful. Double, Freerin ultimate, like we talked about. Other heroes not as important, like Gwyneth's ultimate, Gunner ultimate, for example, in Dream Realm, not as important, but it's still going to be some damage contribution, right? Not for just free. And while the warrior's active morale will not decrease unless Rolan is defeated, so it'll keep at the 100% morale. And then allies inside the ward are immune to stat reductions as well. And if in any time there's going to be some form of stat reducing boss, then that is going to be really powerful, actually, immune to stat reductions, because not a lot of heroes have that in their kit. And then very importantly, he also comes with not only healing of 80% health multiplier every second to all allies, and the Radiant Ward, by the way, is basically the whole map. It's the whole field, it seems to be. It doesn't have to be a specific area. And then while all enemies within it will lose 40% HP every second. And this is crazy for AFK stages, because you're going to get every single enemy, once he gets 100% morale, which is not even going to take that long, a few ultimate casting, and then 40% HP loss every single second for all enemies. And in boss content, it will be only one enemy, but still 40% HP loss per second. It's still strong. Like he's still going to contribute a meaningful amount to Endless Dream Realm. And for pre-Endless, he still has enough buffing value that potentially he'll be used there as well. And the double ultimates, like double Freerin ultimate, double Galahad ultimate, it's going to be insane, right? And if any other ultimate-based nuker comes out in the future, if this was at the time where Shmir was still meta, imagine double Shmir ultimate. But anyway, finally, Enhanced Force. Now, this one's really interesting. When a battle starts, the allied team gains an extra 6% morale for each hero from the faction with the most deployed heroes. So what this means is, let's say on your team you have 3 Mauler heroes, and you have Rolan, and then you have some other faction hero. The most deployed faction is Mauler, okay, number 1. Number 2, how many of that most deployed faction is there? That's 3. So 3 times 6% would be 24%. Instant boosted morale on top of your 20% that came from his passive from Undying Valor at the beginning of battle. Now, if the faction is a Lightbearer Empire, because he's like the king of Lightbearers, he's having extra synergy with them. The morale bonus increases by 4% per hero. So, for example, if you have a team of Rolan and 4 other Lightbearer heroes, which probably you'll never have that. That's way too awkward of a team. But if you had that, then each one is going to be contributing not 6% morale for each of them, is going to be a bonus 4. So it'll be 6 plus 4, it will be 10% per light bearer hero if light bearer is your most deployed faction, right? But you have to keep in mind, this is only your most deployed faction. Like if you have a mix of multiple factions, it'll just be whichever number is the highest on your team of a faction, and then the number of heroes in that faction. And if it's light bearer, it's going to be 10%. If it's a non-light bearer, it's going to be 6%. That's basically it. Okay, so coming to Dream Realm and PvP. So in Dream Realm today, I think Frosty shared the top team. So here we have one of the top teams basically of today. Gunner, King Rolan, Contest, and if you take a look at this team, they're 4 Celestial Hypogeans, which means at the beginning of battle, we should get 4 times 6% because they're a non-light bearer faction. So that will be 4 times 6 is 24%. Wait, what was it 24 before? It should have been 18. Yeah, anyway, 4 times 6 is 24%. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is going to happen here. So if you look at Excalibur, it's going to start, if you take a look here, it starts at around 44%, right? Because 20% from Undying Valor, another 24% by the 4 times 6 that we have going on. And the twins are just casting ultimate. That should give another big boost. Yeah, and then Rolan casts ultimate, Gwyneth casts ultimate, and now we're already 2 seconds into the match. We're over 60% morale. We're closing on 80%. Gunner casted 80% morale. I don't know how all the heroes casted ultimate so fast. Yeah, I don't know how these heroes how did they all cast ultimate? Is this some sort of glitch or something? Why are they all with full energy right at the beginning of the battle? I don't know what went on, but anyway. Yeah. This could be some sort of replay glitch, but basically when enough ultimates are casted, already we're at 80% morale, you just wait for another cycling of your ultimates, and then you're going to be 100% morale close soon into the fight, like probably 20 seconds into the battle, you're probably going to get that. So that is definitely very strong. Now for PvP, he has survival issues, and I did try a couple of different team comps with him. I first of all tried what I thought was going to be his most promising team, which was a full light bearer team. With Orion, with Persis for temporary buff, and Peggy Rowan combo. Now, I'm facing into obviously a counter team. This is a counter team to this because Mihira crowd controls your team and you're not able to get off your combos, and then Sylphira just jumps and smashes your whole team. But basically, this is to demonstrate that if you do not have, if the enemy has too much damage, your whole team is going to get wiped before there's anything you can even do about it. Like, look at this. One Sylphira ultimate. The enemy team doesn't even have charms, by the way. They don't even have red charms. And it's already Rolan dead, right? And the whole team dead. So this is going to be always the thing about Rolan. If you want to look at a promising replay, I was actually this is looking good to me. And I think this is probably how I'm going to begin running Rolan. Running him in a Stroll team. Saida Contest Stroll team, well, Rolan is a great addition to that. As you guys are going to see, because already in this team is very tanky. Like, Saida cannot die really easily. Contest has a hard time dying. You have, Ringar as well for more protection. Gerda for healing. Basically, the team has great survival. And you're going to be able to stall out long enough until King Rolan can either get off his ultimate or get the maximum morale. And so this is really the team comp I'm thinking about for Rolan. Because if you guys look at it here, even though we don't have many light bearers, we only have even 4 of the same factions. We only get a 24% morale boost. But now Saida gets off the ultimate. Good start. Twins, the double ultimate, like basically 2 heroes ultimate. And look at that. We already have so much morale. Because I guess I don't even think we maybe killed the enemy Phantom, but there we go. We're already fully charged on morale, 10 seconds into the match, and now Rolan can't even ultimate, but even without his ultimate, all the morale we have, the double ultimates we're going to be getting from Contest as well as Saida, this is what I'm thinking. And why does Athena keep jumping onto Rolan? Like, Rolan should not be dealing that much damage. Maybe the HP loss he's dealing per second, it might actually be somewhat meaningful. But anyway, this is, like, interesting, right? And this is probably also going to give, if, like, you have the mirror matchup and you're scared, how do I always beat the enemy Saida Contest Twins team? Having Rolan on your side is probably almost definitely going to make that happen. So there's the other advantage there. Look at him. He actually did as much damage as Saida here. So even though Saida, like, by the time she fully procced, everyone was almost dead. So it's obviously, it's not like he's going to deal as much as Saida, but he still deals a meaningful amount of damage, as you guys can see. So I'm thinking, either contest stall teams with Rolan or Saida contest Rolan. Probably Twins as a chosen ally for him, and great survival, great tankiness, keeping the team alive, stalling out a bit, and then finishing them all off. That is what I plan for Rolan. I think that's the way to make him work in PvP. So I really think Contest is going to be a good ally of his, good friend of his. And yeah, so that's what I would have to say for Roland. But if you are like, a more mid-spender player, I would not recommend Paragon upgrading Roland because you're going to do just fine at Supreme Plus. He gets his job done for Dream Realm, which is, of course, his main angle, Dream Realm AFK stages. Supreme Plus will be perfectly fine for that. Reserve your Paragon upgrades for really the most meta, PvP heroes. And Roland, even though I think he can work and I like the stall comps, I don't think he's going to be a more niche hero, definitely. He's not like gonna be, what can we say? Like a hero like Gunner, hero like Contest, Gwyneth, Freeran, who you'll always want to use. Like kind of like must-have parts of your teams. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about Roland in the comment section down below. Probably I will do more testing, and if any other info comes out, then we will have that. This is currently a skills based on Pioneer server. Of course, it is subject to change, so we'll have to wait for that for the official release. But overall, good hero for PvE content and decently usable in PvP. He is going to be a must-pull status as of right now because you guys are going to see in the upcoming days that for probably every Endless Dream Realm boss, maybe not everyone. I don't know about the Doom Scourge. Although he's going to attack buff all of those summons, which is going to be massive. I think probably even for Doom Scourge. Yeah, he's probably going to be meta for most bosses in Endless. And pre-Endless, we won't even know. So thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus Dragon Crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment. And you can actually bookmark this link in your browser. And whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.